Hi, this is resident of Collinwood for YouTube, resident _of Collinwood for BitChute, and I'm here to talk about Elizabeth and really Jason. Did Jason sell Elizabeth on Paul's death? In my opinion, no. At least he wasn't the only one, really. To me, the person who sold Elizabeth on Paul's death was Elizabeth in many ways. I'm not saying Jason didn't help by, insinuation, but by the time Jason comes in, to me, Elizabeth already believes Paul is dead. I mean, Paul, she's so distraught after hitting him in the head. She walks out, in walks Jason, and he's, not aware of what has happened. He's not aware that Paul got glonked over the head. And then when he opens the door, he sees him sitting up, like, what the hell? And he's like, don't go in, I'll go in. And then, does Jason tell Elizabeth that he's dead? Yes. But to me, even prior to Jason delivering that news, I do believe Elizabeth put that in her own mind before Jason did. Jason just took advantage of a very, very vulnerable woman. I mean, she was, in every way, shape, and form. Paul made Elizabeth vulnerable, and it was just building and building and building, and finally Elizabeth just had enough of him. I mean, here's somebody who I truly believe Elizabeth did love, and Elizabeth just had enough of when he goes to leave. I mean, literally, you want to talk about somebody who just could not stand her husband, and found out what kind of person her husband really was. That was Elizabeth. And Elizabeth was married to a man who she thought she loved, but turns out he didn't really love her. Paul just loved to con people and take advantage of people. And, do I blame Jason for taking advantage of Liz? I blame Jason for this. Him realizing the vulnerability and then playing to her vulnerability. I think that's what Jason did most. Yes, he does lie to her, but to me, before he ever goes in there, when Elizabeth is out of the drawing room after hitting Paul, and you could sort of tell this too, she's already put it in her mind that, oh my God, I killed him, I killed him. I think she doesn't say it, but her body language is screaming it like, oh my God, oh my God. I think she's thinking that she's killed him long before Jason ever even says it. And so, I mean, it doesn't really, to me, is it shocking that Jason would say that? No. It's shocking a little bit to her, but, she's in such a state of distress because here's this man she feels she killed, and I truly believe she felt that way before Jason ever told her. That's my point of view of it. That's my opinion of it. I just think Jason played to it, and really he did it good. I mean, he did it very, very well, I should say. I'm not trying to say he was good for doing it. No, he was bad. He did it very well. He played on her emotion, and he receives money. He gets a cut of Paul's money that he took, and he comes back to blackmail her. Do I think Jason should have come back? I'm curious more to think that I think when he came back, when Jason came back to Collinsport, I truly think he came back because he thought Paul would return there. I do believe when he says he ran out of money, that I believe, because he brought Willie with him. But my thing of it is, I truly believe he came back looking for Paul Stodard, thinking, I wonder if Paul ever really came back here. Because something he says strikes me as has always stricken me as odd. He says he ran into Paul 10 years prior in China and he was okay then. So why does he if he's so buddy with Paul, why does he separate from him? Why do the two not work, even closer together? That's something that's always puzzled me from the Dark Shadow standpoint. Maybe Paul, I think more Jason got tired. Jason seems to me the type that he will get tired of someone's antics. As much patience as he does try to have as a con man, I think he got tired of Paul being so damn stubborn, and that seems to be something that really pisses Jason off when people are just so stubborn they won't listen. And I do believe Jason when he says, man, Paul just wouldn't listen, and maybe that is an explanation of why they just didn't keep working together after Collinsport. It's not like Elisabeth knew he was alive. So to me, if Jason would have kept working with Paul, I don't feel Jason would have ever had to return to Collinsport, but I think Jason would rather not work with Paul because Paul was just somebody who really did not listen very well. So he takes Willie Loomis under his wing and they work jobs and then get away with it, but they're not keeping their money, they're not making enough money, so he goes back to Collinsport. And yeah, I do think at first he was maybe looking around for Paul. He realized, you know what, I'm broke. I'm gonna blackmail Liz. Why not? I do love how they put this together. I think the Jason and Liz arc is very interesting. I love the conclusion of it. Do I think Jason should have been killed off? I think Jason, even though at this point in time, they weren't entirely, they were still wanting to kill Barnabas off by this point, that, remember, they weren't, dead set on going into 1795 quite yet. So my standpoint of this is this, that for me, if Jason lives, if I would have had Jason live, to me, when Carolyn finds out he's been conning her mother, I should say, sorry, you gotta have a continuation of Carolyn decides to go after Jason, dead set, and you see Jason continuing to get away with the same old shit. Carolyn is actually watching him from afar, and then that's when we see Paul Stodard. I think that would have been a cool reveal of Paul Stodard. Do I blame them for killing Jason? No, I get why they did it. They did it to sort of show you Barnabas was somebody not to be messed with, because something I touched on in one of my previous videos, up until that point, Barnabas had not actually killed anybody. You hadn't seen him kill anybody. Sure, you've seen him beat the shit out of Willie Loomis. We've seen that. But he had not killed anybody, and I think they were definitely needing a body to show, look, this guy is legit badass. He is a vampire that will kill. And Jason just happened to be the shortest straw. And really he was. I mean, think about it at that time, and this is something I've touched on in my other video too. Who was expendable at that time? Let's see, not Sam, because there's Maggie had escaped. Not Joe, because Maggie had escaped, and they didn't know Maggie. Barnabas doesn't know Maggie's alive. Not Dr. Woodard. He still wasn't expendable. Not Burke, even though they're going to kill Burke off in a plane crash, which I found just... I think that's the one death I find most annoying, because I feel Anthony George gets too much heat for betraying Burke Devlin. I feel they should have had a lot more faith in Anthony George and stuck with their guns. I mean, you don't have Mitchell Ryan anymore. I thought Did Anthony George do a better job? No. But did he do a good job? Yes. Yes, he did. So they kill off Burke Devlin, in a plane crash. Let's see, who else wasn't expendable? Carolyn wasn't expendable. David wasn't expendable. Liz wasn't expendable. I mean, literally, Jason is the only name you can come up with that you can go, okay, he's dead. And really, I mean, because you're not going to take him and have Carolyn follow him, why not kill him off, right? It was just easy logic to have him killed off in the long run. So that's sort of my step back view of the Mcguire Stodard angle. That I get Jason did come there and did blackmail Liz, and he had even but if you think about it, think about how he introduces himself, how he hears about Liz. He hears about Elisabeth through a conversation. We never actually hear him ask about Liz on his own until after that. So that's what makes me think he didn't initially come to blackmail Liz. He came there maybe hoping Paul would be there and maybe he could talk to him. That would be the one place maybe Paul finally decided to work up the nerve to go to Liz and be like, okay, I'm alive, so let's talk. What would that have been like? I don't know. But that's just my view of it, my opinion of it. I'm not saying I'm right. You guys can definitely have your own point of view of this. So that's sort of my view of that. I definitely want to get into Dr. Hoffman a lot more, and I'm going to later tonight because I'm running out of time. It's 3 o'clock. So I hope you guys check this video out. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.